double cheeked up. Why are you out here double cheeked up? Why are you double cheeked up on Thursday? Whenever I hear that voice, I think, man.
Mr. Ivey, know the show must go on. And you're Cincinnati,
What are you doing? But I'm going to accomplish that.
Another plane for me to cook on. Play stars, close this shit too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cops rising, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than no, fake not. Right on the citywide. But nationwide, the relatives keep it locked like the Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the 10th place, let's see about it. Who got the everybody? Hey yo, rattle be a rapper, got it flaming when they play. They like, no, they in my lane. They ain't got the okay, yo. Who the host with the scoop, yeah, they gon' say yo. Ivy, sons of relatives like the bag of ripples. Showing where the brand said, Cincinnati red check.
One time where my people at. King and I, where my people at.
It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at.
King and I, where my people at. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Today is May 5th, 2022. Great to be alive. And as always, great to be with you. Good morning. Good morning. There's a link in today's description, and you can follow that link to get more information about this upcoming Mother's Day event. All you can eat Southern Swank. They're today's sponsor. Good morning to you. One of today's sponsors. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. I'll talk more about it. Good morning. Good morning. This show is brought to you by the good folks at Cincinnati Digital Media. Good morning to you. My name is Nathan Ivey. I'm your humble host, broadcasting live from a secret location somewhere in the greater Cincinnati area. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. I want to say welcome back to Tamiya Dinard. I saw that Irish Rolly posted an image of herself and Tamaya. She was released. I'm happy to see it. Again, you do the crime, you do the time, but I hate to see anybody get locked up. And I like Tamiya Dinard. I thought that she had a great trajectory for the people. And then, shit happens. People make mistakes. Things happen, but I'm glad to see that she's been released. And the rest of her life is in front of her. I think she still got some probation stuff in front of her, but the rest of her life is in front of her. So I wish her well. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, all you have to do is either leave a comment in the chat, or you can give us a call at 513-873-7134. All right. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. That's it. That's it. So a couple of days ago, I was on the air and I received a phone call from Cincinnati Public Schools. I have two children, if you don't know. One is 7, the other is 16. 16 going on 26, because she wanted to be grown so bad. She wanted to be grown so bad. And I remember, because I wanted to be grown too. And after I became grown, I loved it. I love being grown. So I received the call like when I was on the air, and you remember I had to stop everything, because when you're a parent of children that are school age and you receive a call during the day, you automatically assume it's going to be an emergency. As a CPS parent, I'm used to receiving calls after school, like robocalls from the principal or something about the school, something like after school hours. And the reason why they do that is because it doesn't scare the shit out of parents. I'm talking with the wifey just last night. We had yet to talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, I received this call from CPS. She's like, I got one too, for our children. She was in a meeting. She had to stop everything, heart pounding. Memo to CPS: in the future, the first day of a superintendent is not that important to scare the shit out of parents by sending a phone call at 9 a.m. in the morning. It's just not that important. There's just so many other ways you can do that. Like, who is the communication staff at CPS? Gosh darn it, there still remains a hurdle of communication between CPS and parents. That's basic. And y'all know I was live on the air. I had to stop everything because children come first. And some people were like, well, why is this an issue? Because I'm getting a phone call from my kid's school out of the blue at a time that I'm not used to. So I jump on a call. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, we want to announce and help congratulate the first day of the superintendent. Send me a fucking text or send me something after school saying, hey, today was her first day. Or you could have done that the day before. Like the day before, you could have said, hey, tomorrow's going to be Irenetta's first day. You don't send no gosh darn phone call message to working people at 9 a.m. in the morning. What in the hell? Do the people in CPS not have children? That wasn't good. I mean, some people say it's minor or whatever. You can think what you want. But yeah, I was right here on the air. I had to stop everything because the babies come first. Fix that, CPS. In the future, don't send me no gosh darn phone call at 9:30 in the morning talking about it's the first day of the superintendent. I don't care. Ain't that serious? I'm thinking my kid had got into some kind of accident or there's some kind of incident or they're missing or something like that. And I wasn't the only one. I posted on Facebook and other people were like, yeah, I felt it too. This is basic. There remains a barrier of communication. Somebody get on that or don't. Good morning to you. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, 513-873-7134. Again, this is basic shit. I want to say what's up and shout out to Rosemary Oglesby Henry. She was our guest via Zoom style yesterday. And I went back and watched it after the show. And this is on point. Actually, the more and more I think about it, as I was watching it for the first time, because I was doing the conversation with her, very inspirational. Like I said, the powers that be, here she is trying to pull together something special for Avondale, for teen parents. And we need to invest in teen parents in Cincinnati. And by investing in teen parents, you're not promoting premarital sex. Some people are still caught up with that conservatism shit when it comes to sex. You're not promoting it. You're just dealing with the realities. You're dealing with the realities. And there's a lot of class issues involved with that. But after going back and watching it, I just thought that she was on point. Sister's inspirational. The powers that be, they put what they thought might have been some near impossible circumstances in front of her. She jumped over all of that. It was beautiful. And I wish her the best. And again, if you missed it, you can go back and check out yesterday's show. And if you know what she's doing in her project and you want to support her, then fire off an email. Or again, the easiest thing in the world to do, because we all on social media, the easiest thing in the world to do is to reach out to your city council persons on social media. We on social media anyway. You be liking and posting all kind of ish. And they'll get the message, whether they respond to you or not. They will receive the message. It will have an impact. Now, will it be the impact you're looking for? I can't promise you that, but it definitely will be an impact. Good morning to you. If my eyes seem a little bit red, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's the pollen season. Living in Cincinnati, they say that if you live here long enough, you will develop allergies. I don't really have allergies, really, but every once in a while, every 3 or 4 or 5 seasons, they start to hit me, and they're hitting me right now. So that's what it is. I put some drops in, so there it is. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Again, that's my number if you'd like to share your thoughts. Jared writes, I'm writing a letter ASAP. Right, just find it. Don't even like I said, Twitter, Facebook. Find your city council persons on Twitter and Facebook and send them a message, and a direct message. They will receive it. They'll get it. You can fire off a phone call, leave a message. They got people that collect the messages. They get the messages and then send them to the council person. Go ahead and let them know how you feel. 513-873-7134. Why Nina Turner lost? I came across a really interesting article in The Intercept. The Intercept. You hit to The Intercept about Nina Turner, and it analyzed what was going on in that race. A lot of people in this audience like Nina Turner. She's more of a progressive, and she lost in her rematch against Rep. Chantel Brown. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about Chantel Brown, but as I was reading this article, I thought it was really interesting, the money that's at play. You got some big, big money. Even Republicans got involved in that race. Why? I'll give you the details in just a couple of minutes. Plus, I'll send you a link. You can check it out. Also, why I'm not taking my son to a Reds game. I told you, I don't know, maybe it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was thinking about taking my son to a Reds game because, that's what you do with your kids. You take them to the local baseball and local sports events, and I don't know. He's into basketball now, and I'm loving I love it. He comes home from school, and all I hear is jumping, and he'll jump into the office doing this, doing fadeaways. Yesterday, he was like, Giannis against Tatum. And in my heart, I was like, that's my boy. That's right. He all about the b-ball, man. Loving it. And I'm right there with him, pushing him along, right? Getting my LeVar Ball on. Speaking of which, I'm starting to see more and more commercials of LaMelo Ball, and I love it. That's my favorite. That's our favorite young NBA player, and it's just so special, man, when your boy is into it and you into it. You watch the games together. He's only 7, but he knows the players and he's trying out the moves. Oh, my God. There ain't nothing better on earth, man. Ain't nothing better on earth. Nothing in the world is better than that, man. So we're having a good time with that. But I was thinking about taking him to a Reds game. I was like, man, I ain't taking my team. I don't waste my time with losers. I don't waste my time with them. I'm not taking my son to see no gosh darn losing ass, basement dwelling ass team, especially with an ownership group that don't value me. I ain't doing it. So within the last 24 hours, I came across an article written by Paul Daugherty. He's a local sports guy. And it only took him 10 years to figure out what we already knew, that the biggest mistakes the Reds made was getting rid of Dusty Baker. I told you. When they did that, I was like, oh, they ain't serious. The Reds would rather lose with a white coach than win and struggle the up and down with a black coach. That's what I always thought now. Does everything have to be race? Well, everything got to be race, Nate. Well, tell that to the young man that was working. White woman comes up and slaps him in the face. You see that shit? Called him an N-word because she was trying to get something off the menu that she didn't need anyway. Her heart was like, don't buy it. Don't buy it. We don't need this. Her audience was like, we don't need this. We're already clogged. You see that? Called this young boy the N-word and slapped him in the face. He better than me because I would have did something to her. I ain't no doubt about it. She ain't getting away with that one. I just would have lost my job. It is what it is. I can work fast food somewhere else. I ain't going for it, but what are you talking about race? Well, that's what I think. The Reds got rid of Dusty Baker. Meanwhile, he got whole milestones, 2,000 wins and all this kind of shit. And I don't even know who the Reds coach is. I have no idea. I don't know what they doing down there. All I know is I ain't going. Now, somebody want to give me some free tickets, I ain't going. If you want to give me some free tickets to like one of the luxury boxes, I might go because that's fun. I might go then, but I ain't going down there on no regular shit, sitting in the sun for no whack ass team. I ain't doing it. I felt the same way about the Bengals, so we may never go. If you want to get my heart, I work hard for my money. I'm not giving you my money just because you're local. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I may never, ever see a Reds game again. Number one, I don't like the attitude of Castellini. Talking about what you gonna do, where you gonna go? Well, I'm just not going to go down the Great American Ballpark. That's what I'm gonna do with your arrogant elitist ass. And then number two, what are they, 3-20? 3-20? I told y'all stop giving these fools a gosh darn parade, but nobody wants to listen. They don't deserve it. No pennant race, no playoffs, no freaking parade. But people in this town are like hamsters on a hamster wheel. You know, this is what we do. Bump all of that. I ain't doing it. We ain't going. Do what you want to do. But again, that luxury box, you know what I'm saying? They bringing you food and shit, the air conditioning and shit. They pampering you. I'm like, I can get used to this. That's fun. That's just me. So that's why I ain't going. But props to Paul Daugherty. Paul, it only took you 12 years to figure out what I knew the day it happened. It was the biggest mistake, letting go of Dusty Baker. You talking about a Hall of Fame coach? You gonna let him go? Ah, dear Lord. I ain't doing it. Charles writes, you be lunching if you don't go to a Bengals game this season. They're finally producing. Yeah, they are. They are. You know, yeah. I told y'all I wasn't going down there to watch no damn Andy Dalton. What I look like? I'm not going down there to see the red water pistol. It ain't happening. And I never did. Not one time. Now, tailgating is different. That's like a little event unto itself. I did go to tailgating a couple times during the red water pistols era, but I never went to a game. Plus, you know, watching it at home is just so much more convenient. So that's just me. You're not getting my money on you win some elitist stuff, taking me for granted. And on top of that, the product on the field is terrible. Hit you with the Dikembe Mutombo. Nope. Not gonna be able to do it. Not gonna be able to do it. Sorry. Let me write Dusty Baker, best of the best. Right? Yeah, one of the best. And you let that go? I don't see it. I just got a different standard than everybody else, I guess. Not everybody else, but some of these folks in the city. I'm just not going with just because we always do it. So what? I ain't going with it. Not going to be able to do it. Can we do what? Not going to be able to do it. Speaking of rap, I'm reading that Yo MTV Raps is being rebooted, coming back to a streaming service. I think it's Paramount Plus. Is that owned by Viacom? Because shouldn't Yo MTV Raps be on MTV? But it's going to be on Paramount Plus. Somebody quickly search real quick. Is that owned by Viacom? If it is, it's all under the same family tree. But I remember Yo MTV Raps, man. That was classic back in the day. It was much watched TV. Hip-hop culture was still underground, but it was growing and growing and growing. Hip-hop is ubiquitous now. Hip-hop has so seamlessly integrated into American culture that we don't even notice it when it happens. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. I mean, there was a time when you would see these big-time companies, and they would do commercials with hip-hop stars using hip-hop beats, and they would stand out to you like, oh, did you hear that, Nas? They hit that Tribe Called Quest. You hear that? Now, you don't even notice it. But Yo MTV Raps is coming back. The iconic hip-hop program is set to premiere on May 24th. If you have Paramount Plus, or maybe you've got one of those Fire Sticks, and so you can get a little bit of everything like I do. Shh. And you can check it out. I don't know if it's going to be the same, man, because Fab Five Freddy was like, Fab Five Freddy was iconic. And then you had Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. And those individuals were like personalities. They were a part of an important part of the culture in of themselves. So like to have them as the host of MTV Raps, that was a big thing. That show was dope. It ran from 1988 to 1995. And so the reboot is going to focus on current artists and emergent artists, but they're also going to do like some throwback type of shit as well on each and every episode. And they're going to mix in some ciphers because, you know, people like hip hop like to hear people spit bars and all that kind of stuff. I won't put it on your radar screen. It may or may not be. I don't know. Speaking of radar screen, I got a chance to finish Ozark. And without spoiling it for you, what I will say is overall, including the ending, way better than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was one of the biggest disappointments of all time. What a fantastic series. But that last few episodes was the worst-ish ever. Still mad about that. Ozark, nah, that they delivered. You know, it was appropriate. And I think that they completed the story arcs for each and every character. And then what I'll say is that Marty and Wendy are not to be played with. It's interesting because I don't know if this is a trend, but their relationship kind of reminds me of the relationship in the Netflix series House of Cards. Because them motherfuckers are cutthroat. You ever seen House of Cards? You have not watched House of Cards. What are you doing? Go watch it. And them motherfuckers, cutthroat. Marty and Wendy, cutthroat. I'll leave it just like that. And if you've been watching the season and maybe you'll make 1 or 2 seasons in, I'm jelly because you got all that great stuff to watch that I've already watched, right? So I may give it a year or 2 and go back and watch it one day or over a couple of days or something like that because you can't watch the whole 4 seasons in one day. But I was like, woo. Yeah. And some people online was like, oh, it was anticlimactic. I wouldn't say that. I mean, if you really was into that series, it ended, I would say, appropriately. That's what I would say. But it's worth your time. I'll put it that way. It is worth your time if you're into that kind of stuff. If you ain't, you ain't. If you ain't, you ain't. What's up, Shannon? Shannon, good morning to you. She writes, good morning. Vernon writes, Dusty Baker was making too much money, was he? Yeah, but too much money to he taking you to the playoffs. What was the coach for 5 years? They went to the playoffs 3 to 5 years. I mean, I'll take that. And then when they got to the playoffs, if I remember correctly, they just got hit with a lot of injuries, you know, just snake bit, bad luck, all that kind of stuff. Part of winning the championship is luck in sports in terms of injuries. It's just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Ask Philadelphia right now with no Joel Embiid. Good morning. Good morning. Glenn writes, agreed, Nate. Fire Dusty Baker was some straight up consistent conservative bullish. Dale writes, they let him go after getting the Reds in the wild card. Right. Biggest mistake the Reds have ever made in the Castellini era. But that's their arrogance. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the right leader. Brent writes, Paramount Plus is an arm of Viacom. That's what I thought, Brent. Thanks for checking and confirming that. That's what I thought. But I'm like, yo, MTV Raps. But see, nowadays with streaming services, it don't really matter. It really don't matter. The world is completely different. I mean, just think about how differently the world is from 1988, 1994 era. Like back then, that was like the dawn of cable television. Now, cable is dying. And everybody's on streaming services. Just like dozens of streaming services now. This is a whole different world. Plus, you got the explosion of the internet. It's a whole different world. Is something seriously going on with the Reds organization? Did they gut that team so they could get rid of David Bell or Joey Votto this season? I don't know. Dale writes, if you want to watch rap videos, you can just go to YouTube, so I don't see the reboot lasting long. That's a good point. Like back in the day when Yo MTV Raps was on, if you wanted to watch a video, oh, it sound like an echo chamber. If you wanted to watch a video, hold on 1 second, I'll take care of that. If you want to watch a video, how that sounds now. Back in the day, if you wanted to watch a video, I'll say it again because I just refreshed the screen a little bit, so I might have lost you. But back in the day, if you wanted to watch a video, you had to go to MTV, you had to go to BET, you had Video Jukebox, remember that shit? Then VH1 came along a little later after that. That was it. You weren't going, there was no YouTube. So you're right. It won't be the same in terms of videos. But you know what? People who are into hip hop still like I don't know. I'm just a big fan of the different model. There's a different model when it comes to hip hop now, and it's like the hip hop talk show. So you see the Breakfast Club doing that. They don't do any performances. It's just intimate conversations with newsmakers and hip hop artists and people in the industry, and it works for them. Same thing with Everyday Struggle, which was um I'm trying to remember who was behind Everyday Struggle in terms of who owned it. I can't remember, but people were really into it. I thought it was a super dope show. I really liked it. And they had no performances. It was just like an intimate conversation about the culture, about the industry, with the people in the culture and in the industry, and it worked. Yo MTV Raps seems to be like, oh, we're gonna go back and see if this formula from the 90s works. And you might be right about that, Daryl. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, how important see, back in the day, a cipher was like, that was valuable because that was the only place you can get it. Now you go on YouTube, you can see these rap battle leagues. All these artists have YouTube channels and TikTok channels and Instagram channels. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So we'll have to wait and see. You might be right about that, Daryl. I'll be interested to see if it works. I don't know. Buckeye fan writes, I don't know your politics, but in my opinion, Nina Turner lost because she depressed her progressive base that was with throughout both Bernie Sanders campaigns and seemed like another typical Dem. Well, Nina Turner lost because Chantel Brown just had a whole bunch of money on her side. That was part of it. There's a very interesting article. I'm not sure if you're hip to The Intercept. The Intercept, you should check them out. TheIntercept.com. Let me see if I can put this on the screen for you, and you can kind of check it out as I'm talking about it. It's very interesting. And they talk about the money that was involved in this. Here it is right here. Progressives massively outgunned, and they ditched Nina Turner. So the first time around, she had a lot more support than the second time around. And part of that is that, I guess people inside the Democratic circles just projected that she was going to lose. And so they either stayed out of it or they got behind Chantel Brown. But there's some interesting points in here that we can talk about. And there's an organization called Justice Democrats. And if I remember correctly, and if I'm wrong about this and somebody knows, set me straight, they are the people that supported AOC. And so what they do is they're looking for progressive candidates. Matter of fact, there is a documentary that it was on Netflix, I believe, for a while, that talked about the rise of AOC and the Justice Democrats and some other people in races across the country. So they're looking for progressives that can run against, or they can run in races across the country. And they put a lot of support behind Nina Turner the first time and not as much the second time. Justice Democrats blame pro-Israel super PACs run by DMFI and AIPAC for its decision to stay out of the rematch with Ohio Rep. Chantel Brown. So after I read the article, essentially the Justice Democrats said, basically, they didn't think they were going to win because Chantel Brown had way too much money behind her and they just couldn't match it. So they're like, look, we got limited resources. We're going to have to triage this shit. And that's what they did. So a big reason why she lost is the money. The money. Justice Democrats, the group that has launched several progressive members of Congress, said is being massively outgunned by Republican donors, giving millions to attack progressive candidates in several competitive races. One of those was the Democratic primary in Ohio's 11th district. Yeah, big money was coming in. Big money was coming in. And why are PACs associated with Israel involved in a race in Ohio's 11th district? Why? In the 2021 cycle, DMFI PAC spent just under $2 million on ads supporting Brown and attacking Turner. The AIPAC-aligned Pro-Israel America PAC gave Brown's campaign more than $500,000. On the other side, last year, Justice Democrats helped raise more than $100,000 for Tina Turner. So Brown's campaign was again propelled by outside pro-Israel groups that claimed Turner stokes division, and they painted her as an anti-Israel candidate. So big money came in. I won't read, every single word and every single paragraph, but if you read, matter of fact, let me give you a link and you can check it out for yourself either right now or later. And basically what you're going to find is that the Republicans got involved. See, like I said, some of these black folks out here playing, y'all out here playing blocks. I see some of these so-called black media channels, and I'm like, okay, what's the fucking plan? You don't like this, you don't like this, don't do this, they're trying to do this, but what is the plan? It just can't be never-ending suffering. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the Republicans out here getting involved in Democrat primaries. They playing chess. They playing chess. How's it sound now, Daryl? Does it sound better? Hopefully it does. They playing chess. Out here playing checkers. And these folks got you beat by a mile. Same thing happened back in the election between Hillary Clinton and Trump, who Trump's got sway in Ohio. I told y'all not to let that fool get in office. I told you. It's too late now. Once he got elected, it was too late. I told you. But people was running around here on some dumb shit talking about what Hillary Clinton said 1,000 years ago that has no impact on anything. Meanwhile, I'm thinking about the Supreme Court. I'm thinking about net neutrality. I'm thinking about all of the things that a president can impact. But you got people out here talking about some shit that Hillary Clinton said 1 billion years ago. Literally. 100 million years ago. Back during the formation of the galaxy. I don't care. I didn't care then. I told you that. I'm like, look, this is a bad look, y'all. I know. I'm not saying Hillary Clinton's the best, but she's a whole lot better than Trump. No, they not. It's all the thing. Okay, keep playing with your little Lego blocks. Meanwhile, the other side is playing high-level chess. You out here playing tic-tac-toe with it and getting beat every time. Look at this. This is crazy. It's interesting. And apparently, I don't know. I'm going to have to pay more attention to the way that Chantel Brown votes, because that's very interesting to me that she's got. And sometimes, this is just so smart, though. See, there's something about Nina Turner's politics that is putting these groups on high alert. And so, okay, it's not that we think that Chantel Brown is everything that we want, but she ain't Nina Turner. So we're going to get behind her. And then if you're the Democrats, they ain't trying to waste money. They got precious resources, man. It's resources, should I say. So they're not trying to waste money. And if they see that Chantel Brown has an incredible war chest behind her, they're not going to support Nina Turner. And that's what happened. Again, check out the link. I just put it in the chop shop. You can check it out for yourself. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Doing well, brother. What's on your mind?
Nina Turner didn't have a shot in hell this time around.
It looks that same. Apparently you're right.
I mean, the first time she ran, she only lost by like 6 points, so she was close. This time it was 26. And like you said, it came down to money. I mean, beforehand, I don't even think the party endorsed anybody. Chantel Brown I think she was a chairwoman up there in Cuyahoga County. So the establishment got behind her secretly. I mean, not necessarily secretly, but they didn't officially endorse her. They just threw money at it, and she won. But once you get elected, that's when the floodgates open on Nina Turner. And it's a safe district, so it's going to be Democrat no matter what. So, of course, the Republicans are going to play in that district for the establishment person, because they're going to have her on some establishment shit. So, like, they know how she's going to vote. She typically votes Democrat. I ain't seen her vote to this day anyway. she ain't voted against Democratic policy, but the reality is if it comes down to some shit like Israel or like some, some war type ish, she gonna be with that. They have a better chance of influencing an establishment Democrat than an outsider like Nina Turner. So yeah, they want the establishment person. And they, blew her out. I don't know where Nina Turner go after this. So yeah, she got cooked.
Yeah, she did. AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, DMFI, Democratic Majority for Israel. They put that money in there.
For sure. And see, the squad's already been painted as anti-Israel anyway, with Leah Omar and the other woman, I can't think of her name, but she's from Washington. AOC, she's talked that mess before too. So like, yeah, all the established Democrats, a lot of them are, Israeli. They're gonna try to cook them when they can. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of Democrats who are moderate, who are totally establishment, who are pro-Israel, like Republicans are. There's some overlap there. So if they're going to influence a Democratic race, they know it's going to be a Democrat. You want the establishment one. You don't want the outside. So Nina Turner's going to have to figure out what she's going to do next. Maybe she'll do that Our Revolution stuff again with Bernie Sanders and them. Be a perhaps an advisor or something like that. She ain't got nowhere to go, bro. Unless you want to run statewide or something like that. But as you can tell, the Republicans are about to take all those seats right there. Tell me a Democrat who's going to win statewide this time around in Ohio.
I hope that Chelsea Clark wins.
You said who?
I hope that Chelsea Clark wins for state Secretary of State.
She ain't got a shot in hell, right?
Why?
Because Frank LaRose is going to outspend her 20-1. And from the incumbency, Chelsea Clark got a shot. She's from Forest Park. The highest she's gone is Forest Park City Council. Ain't got a shot, bro.
Well, let me get back
LaRose
to you.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, let me get back to you on your question. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I have to get a better idea of who's running and where. You said what Democrat? I would say Greg Landsman has a shot.
Well, I was saying statewide.
Okay.
Like statewide. on the Greg Landsman, it'll be close, but I think Greg Landsman's going to get Gang of Five to death when Steve Chavez starts running the commercials. All you're going to do is hear Gang of Five. Steve Chavez know the playbook.
That would be smart from Chavez's side.
That's what he's going to do. I mean, in terms of the lines, I don't know how that helps Greg Landsman. The lines are basically going to be the same. They still going to be up in Warren County, and
they're not the same. The lines aren't the same.
But the third set of lines they're agreeing on, the lines actually they're substantially the same. There's been a little cut out, but it's not enough to help Greg Landsman. They still in Warren County.
You got a few.
That Ohio won.
From what I've read, he's got with the new way they drew the district. He's got a few percentage points on his side. That's
what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you that he got a few, but it ain't enough to make it up.
You don't think so?
He probably went from like 8 to maybe 4, 5. Like a little outside the margin of error when they started doing the polls.
We shall see.
But Greg Glenn, yeah, we'll see. I just think, you're gonna hear Gang of Five, every commercial. And you know you were from Nancy Pelosi, so they're gonna tie on to Pelosi. I mean, it's an easy playbook for Greg Landsman to get cooked.
We'll see. Could be right.
You think Nan Welly got a shot against DeWine?
I mean, anytime you're in a race, you got a shot.
All right. Do you think she's gonna win the race?
It's hard to say.
All right. I'll take that as a no.
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't want to say I would never shut the door on anybody's candidacy because anything could happen. But right now, if you ask me who I think is going to win, I would say DeWine's going to be reelected because of the nature of the state of Ohio being a red state.
It is a red state, and I'm already looking at her. You know what she's leading with, right?
What?
Abortion. That's a losing message in Ohio. Like, it'd be one thing if she led on something else, but the first thing out of her mouth when she got the nomination was abortion.
Right.
I just don't think that wins in Ohio. That'll win in New York somewhere or
What do you
California,
think
but
wins
not
in
gonna win.
Ohio?
The economy, jobs. I mean, she don't have no plan. I try to look her up or down, like she has no plan,
I'm sure she
and that's
does.
gonna hurt her.
Hold on, let me go to
We
website
go
real
look.
quick.
Look, bro. I've been to the website. She ain't got no plans, bro. I already checked her out. I said the Democrats, they be shooting themselves in the foot, man. Like their best bet was John Crowley, but he got blown out. So like now they're gonna get blown out by the governor.
I'm on their website. The first thing that comes up in terms of her policy page is invest in Ohio, her 21st century jobs plan. So that's in line with what you said.
Oh, she ain't got, read the plan. You read it. I mean, you usually think the highlights, and it sounds good, but read the plan. She ain't got a plan. Just to put some highlights on there and say, she got a plan. Like, can't assume that, bro. You got to get, the devil's always in the detail.
Well, I'm looking at it, and it seems like she's got at least a roadmap.
A roadmap. That's not a plan, bro.
I mean,
but I just encourage people to look her up. You know,
I'm
she's
looking
a
up right
Democrat. Well, not just you, but I'm talking about the listening audience too. I mean, hey, majority of your listening audience is probably Democrat. They need to check her out. I mean, she ain't got a shot in hell. I mean, the Democratic slate statewide is terrible. Only person I think got a shot really is Tim Ryan in that Senate seat against J.D. Vance because he's already a congressman, so he has a legitimate shot. But outside of that, bro, statewide, the Democrats are about to be extinct. Well, they're going to remain extinct.
Okay, what is Tim Ryan then? You said Tim Ryan. You think he's got a shot against J.D. Vance?
He's got the best shot because it's an open seat to jump off. But J.D. Vance got Trump, so it's Trump country. So he's got to fight that battle.
True that.
But I just think the Democrats on a whole just go ahead.
What do you think about your boy? I know you were stumping for him. John Crowley getting shellacked by Nan Whaley.
He got blown out. And the reality is, Nan Whaley ran for governor before. Back in 2018, she was in the primary and she dropped out. So she'd already been working the state. And John Crowley got beat. Ain't no way around it. But I think the Democrats, because of course I know Cincinnati. A lot of black folks don't like John Crowley. I get that. A lot of white folks don't like John Crowley. I get that. But when it comes down to it, it's like, do you want to win or do you want to win the battle or do you want to win a war? And it just seems like Democrats are like small-minded. They rather win little battles like, yeah, we ished on John Crowley. He didn't win the primary. Whoop. Okay, fine. But are you going to win the governor's chair? And who gives you the best chance to win the governor's chair? It was John Crowley because he's moderate. He got a lot of friends on the left and the right. Dan Willie's super far left.
Super far left?
Super far left. I mean, like I said, the first thing out of her mouth is she's running on is abortion. First thing out of her mouth. And I'm like, she's going to get blown out, bro. Democrats just get caught up in the minutia of things. It's like you said earlier, Democrats are out here playing checkers and Republicans are out here playing high level chess. Like I was talking
about black voters.
Black vote. Well, that's same. 90% of Democratic voters are black. So yeah, we'll say we can go with that. That's perfectly fair. Thinking about small battles, thinking about little stuff. Ain't thinking about the big picture. Don't even see it. You hate John Crowley so much, you'd rather have Mike DeWine reelected. Okay, cool. Just not thinking about winning wars anyway. They think about just trying to ish on a particular person instead of like trying to get your policies to the finish line. That's my take on it. I mean, John Crowley got blown out, no question about it. But that's going to be to the detriment of the Democrats.
You could be right.
We'll see, comrade.
Yes, we will. Anything else, Black Russia?
Nah, that's it. I heard Job talk about the leak on the Roe versus Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, this was that leak was totally. I don't think it was the Democrats that did it. I think the Republicans did it to lock in the votes. So now, like, if any of the five change their mind, because the votes ain't finalized, but if any of the five change their mind, it look crazy to the right. So you leak the memo saying you got 5 votes. Here's the opinion. Y'all better not change our minds.
Well, Drop thinks that everything is a Democrat conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy for the
Yeah.
Democrat Party.
Yeah, I don't think that. I just think Democrats don't play the game hard enough. I just think they're too soft. They're too milquetoast. Republicans are going to do whatever it takes to win. Anything, whatever it takes. They just will. And that's why they're better at the political game than the Democrats, especially in Ohio. And even nationwide. Like Mitch McConnell stalled out Merrick Garland, bet on Trump winning, won that bet, and then Trump in 4 years got 3 Supreme Court justices. Like, Trump is still in control. He's probably in control of the next 20, 30 years because of the Supreme Court. He ain't got to get reelected no more. He might run again just for ego, but he really don't have to. Like, everything the right wanted, they get.
Glenn says Black Russia's full of ish. John Curley was not going to beat Mike DeWine. Black Russia's the worst political strategist ever.
God bless you too, Glenn. The reality is Glenn lives in Warren County up there in Mason, where there's all Republicans to his left and his right. So for him to be, talking about John Curley wasn't going to win anyway, he think Nan got a better shot? That's illogical.
Well, why do you think John Curley has a better shot? You already said it, because he was more of a moderate. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. You had an opportunity to pull Republicans who weren't cool with DeWine. Because there was a lot of, DeWine got primary. He didn't hit 50%. He won, but he didn't hit 50% of his vote. John Curley could have pulled some of those Republicans who were disenchanted with the governor, because he got friends to his left and his right as well. But when you run a Democratic primary, hey, the far left, did what they had to do to get him not to be the nominee. And so, again, it's going to be to the detriment. Nan Welly ain't getting no Republican vote. None. Not even the moderate white women.
You sure about that?
I'm positive. DeWine's going to win double digits. He might be her worse than Kasich beat Fitzgerald. Remember that dude Fitzgerald up there in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was the worst nominee ever.
Bruh, like the worst. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I think John Kasich hit about 65% on that. He beat him he won like 30 points. Nan's going to lose by at least 10. I think she's going to lose by like 15, 20 though. But it's going to be at least 10. It's going to be at least double digits.
Okay. Remember you said that then.
Yeah. Put that, write that down. But other than that, Conrad, we'll talk to you soon. Watching this NBA.
What you think? Who's coming out of the East? Who's coming out of the West?
It's going to be Milwaukee versus Golden State.
Think so? Okay. Golden State got to get past Ja.
Hey, he been balling though. But at the end of the day, Golden State got too much firepower. It'll probably go 6.
I think they have too much experience. I think if they beat them, it's experience.
Oh, it absolutely will be. This is the first time Ja been on the stage. He balling, but he ain't got enough people around him. Jaren Jackson Jr. is tight. But I don't know how long he can keep that going too.
They got a little squad.
They decent. They real decent. And then Gary Payton the second one, he's going to be out for a month. And then fractured his elbow, getting that hard foul. See, that's the type of stuff back in the day, cats would be getting no rejected out the game. Like, that used to happen. And cats like, oh, well.
Yeah, right. Kenyon Martin used to slap the hell out of dudes to stay in the game.
Right. He'll raise his hand and take the foul. Like, I did it. The game that got soft, but ain't nobody stopping Giannis.
My only concern is Chris Middleton. Batman needs a Robin.
Is he coming back?
Yeah.
Is he coming back?
Is he? I don't know. MCL
I don't
sprain?
know.
I don't know about that. And when he come back, will he be back? That's
probably
a big blow
not
for that team.
Yeah, they need Middleton. Giannis enough to get him to the finals, though.
Think so? They got to go through Boston. Then you got to go through Miami. I don't know about that one. With Middleton, Milwaukee all day. Without him, it's up in the air.
I don't know. They got some guys. What's your boy Dame? The center that be shooting at long range.
Yeah,
he had the twin Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hey, as long as he's stroking it, it might be all right. But yeah, Milwaukee Golden State. I think it's going to be the final.
All right, brother. Thank you for the call.
All right, take it easy, comrade.
Most def. That's Vidanya. That's Black Russia. Appreciate the call. Someone was trying to call in. I'm running a one-line system right now, so I'm just taking one call at a time. So call me right back. I think that was Buckeye Fan 05. So he was trying to call in on YouTube. Call me back. 513-873-7134. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is Buckeye Fan 05 in the comments.
What's up?
I was the one who raised the issue about Nina Turner.
Okay, sure.
What I was saying was, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. What I was saying was that Nina Turner got popular through the Bernie Sanders campaign, and a lot of the people that voted for Bernie and that came to like Nina liked her for her fire, passion through her speeches, and what that campaign represented is that the Democratic Party didn't represent like progressive politics. They, didn't use like Medicare for all, didn't fight on issues like any wars or taxing the rich, and Bernie Sanders represented that. And so when he left his movement, a lot of people got disappointed. And so in that space, she basically started, making excuses for the squad, like AOC. Like there was this, I don't know if you know this guy named Jimmy Dore, but he came up with this idea called force the vote, which meant you would have to force Nancy Pelosi to bring up Medicare for all for a vote to vote for her for speaker. And basically the whole strategy was you had to see if they were willing to go against the establishment, right? And she started, closing up to like the quote unquote moderate Democrats. She started hiring these people on her team. And so what happened was she lost a lot of people. Like she even famously said that, I'm going to disappoint you at some point. And what she was basically saying was for the people who were upset at the squad, like, they're the best that we have, and you shouldn't be so hard on them. And that lost a lot of people. And that was her base of support. And when you already seen the Democratic Party go against Sanders twice, basically rigged the election against him. I don't know if you believe that or not, but that's what happened. Especially in 2020, they all coincided around Biden, which how do you lose the first three states and all of a sudden you win South Carolina, which, by the way, South Carolina hasn't voted for a Democrat since 1976. So the South Carolina being important doesn't really amount to much. I mean, I know a lot of people like to think that because of it's like one of the first like major black states that votes in Democratic primary, but they just use that just to make sure the conservative Democrat actually wins. And that's what happened with Sanders. And so you see a lot of this disappointment from both Sanders runs, and the fact that the progressives in the House didn't endorse her, the fact that they're not challenging the establishment, it has hurt her. And if anything, what she should have done was lean into those bullshit comments. She should have leaned into the Biden bullshit comments, because I got to tell you, the normie Democrats are not the ones that you really need to go after. The people who who you most need to go after are the people who don't vote. Look at the overall vote tally in the 11th district. 17%. 17%. That's terrible. That's not even a quarter of the people that live in that district. That means that the base is depressed, and they don't want. They're tired of the Democratic Party. They don't see their lives getting better. And to respond to your comments about Hillary didn't do anything to inspire people to vote. Like, how long are you going to keep telling people that you need to vote to keep the Republicans out? They've been doing that for years. And I live in Ohio, too. I'm from Columbus. But I lived in Dayton, and I know people from these, like, areas. Like, they remember NAFTA. Like, they remember, and you said that was just ages ago about the super predator comment. That is, like, she propped that comment up. And by the way, I also have to say, she's responsible for Trump, because if you go to the WikiLeaks DNC emails, what they reveal is that they came up with a strategy called the Pied Piper strategy, and they wanted to elevate people, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump. And they did it because they thought that they were going to be easy to win, right? So that's one of the reasons she lost. Also, a lot of Sanders supporters didn't show up because they knew that he basically had the nomination stolen from him. Like, now, y'all don't believe that or not, but that's what happened. And so Nina Turner is paying for all of these things leading up to this moment. And people that voted for her, that supported her, wanted to be different. And when she showed she wasn't, they didn't show up. And I'm going to hang up, and that's it.
All right, Buckeye fan, thanks for the call. Appreciate you. Appreciate the perspective. Some of what he said, I know to be facts. He's right about some of that stuff. Interesting. Listen, if you want to share your thoughts this morning, 513-873-7134. What do you think? What do you think? I want to get your thoughts. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What up, Nate?
What up, Drop?
Man, I'm loving your show this morning, Nate. Shout out to Black Russia. Shout out to Buckeye Fan 05. Two great calls. But Nate, I've been listening, and I haven't heard you or Black Russia or the last caller mention the fact that after Tim Ryan won on Tuesday, the reporter asked him, "Are you looking forward to President Biden coming down and campaign with you?" And he pretty much said, Nate, he's like, "I don't need any outsiders to come in here and cloud up my message, because this is all about me and Tim Ryan." So Black Russia is on point, because you can't go too progressive. And that's why Turner lost. I heard about the money, the dark money or whatever you were talking about in the article that you were reading. But the fact remains, Nate, that the Democratic establishment does not want the progressive candidates to win. That's pretty clear. And it is because of President Biden. Yesterday, because of the results that happened in Ohio and in Indiana, and then a couple of weeks earlier in Texas primaries, the Democrat Party, because of their leader, President Biden, officially labeled the entire 2022 primary and midterm Republican candidates as ultra MAGA movement. So now, Nate, we all know, at least I do, as an observer of these politics out here, the Democrat Party is now officially going to tie every single Republican candidate to Donald Trump. Because like Black Russia said, it was proven. Up to this point, Nate, trust will verify, I'm pretty sure Daryl from Atlanta going to call in, or Glenn is going to be in the chat saying I'm lying. So people are going to fact check this. To this point, Nate, Donald Trump backed primary candidates are 55-0. Check it. All you got to do is Google 55-0. So after Joe Biden, President Biden, made that announcement yesterday and called it a ultra MAGA movement, that's all they have is Trump. That's all they have, Nate. Tim Ryan said it. I guarantee you, if you ask Nan Whalen, she's not going to be reaching out to the Biden administration because things just aren't going very well for the Democrats. Their messaging is not working. And Black Russia said about the Supreme Court leak, he thinks it was one of the GOP, one of the conservative justices, clerks that leaked it. But I still say because of the reaction in less than 24 hours, Nate, they had protesters organized across the country. They had signs already pre-printed.
Who is they?
I'm just telling you. I'm talking about the people, the politicians, the women and men who love them, who came out to protest against the possible overturning or possible declaration that abortion is not constitutional and has to go back to the state. I mean, they were everywhere, Nate. Washington, D.C. It was some violence in L.A. with people, counter protesters throwing rocks and bottles at the police. And protests in Seattle, all this was done in less than 24 hours. So again, it really doesn't matter who leaked it. It's what the result was of the leak. And again, like I said, Nate, the fact that Tim Ryan doesn't want President Biden to support him, I'm pretty sure that other Democrat primary candidates like Raphael Warnock, like what's the name, Mr. Kelly down in Arizona, and there are a few candidates, Nate, that are not embracing the Biden administration and their current policies. So the last thing before I go, Nate, if the Democrat Party chooses to run against Trump in the midterms, Nate, that's going to be a clear indication that Joe Biden will not be running in 2024. So we just got to wait and see what the Democrat strategy is going to be in 2024. Because again, I have to agree with Black Russia. Trump has proven now that he is the leader of the Republican Party. And like Black Russia said, do you want to win or do you want to prove a point? So that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call, Nate. And shout out to the NBA. Great playoffs. We got the Memphis Grizzlies, young up-and-coming Ja Morant. It's exciting, and I think the ratings are going to be through the roof for the NBA. But thanks for taking my call, Nate. Everybody, you know who it is. Top Squad 52. Drop the science to anyone who wants to catch it. Where my overseers at? Peace out, Nate.
Take it easy, man. Where my overseers at? Again, with this antebellum language, this man won't stop. Has anybody seen this movie called Alice? Somebody posted and said, hey, we got to check this out. I haven't watched it yet, but I know the synopsis. I'm like, wow, this is some crazy shit. And the plot is very similar to another movie I saw with the sister who's an R&B entertainer. What's it called? Is it called? It might be called Antebellum. I think it's called Antebellum. Very similar plots. And I'm like, what in the hell? There's some folks out there, if they could get that off again, they would do it. It's crazy. I can't wait to watch it. It's on my to-watch list. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Jericho writes, are we going to talk about Dave Chappelle and the beatdown? We can. I didn't plan on talking about it. I'm aware that somebody ran to the stage and then the security and friends of Dave Chappelle beat this man down and he was arrested. He ran on the stage and tried to tackle Dave Chappelle, which is a no-no. He got what he deserved, quite honestly. You don't do no shit like that. People are blaming Will Smith because now, like, that's the whole vote. Will Smith is paying a price for that, yo. You know, he didn't lost a couple of, like, Netflix specials or shows that were supposed to come back. He lost that. And it seems like the stars are aligning against him. It was just a sucker move. It was a straight sucker move. It was the kind of thing that a weak man thinks that a strong man's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You're going to smack Chris Rock because he's making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. What a weak-ass thing to do. So he, I know he got this thing because Jada was in love with Tupac. You either gonna deal with that or you gonna leave her. But you can't never get that out of her heart. Like if Tupac was that guy for her, he died tragically. He's always gonna be sort of like a martyr to her. It is what it is. Either you're gonna leave her or you're gonna deal with it. But smacking Chris Rock was a weak ass thing to do, and everybody knows it. So we'll have to see. I don't know how this all ends with Will Smith. I don't know. The only way it ends is consequences to your actions. That's all I can say. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Good morning to you.
Let me ask you, do I have permission to slay my political opponents this morning? Is that okay?
Yes, you do. Slay away.
Let me first off by saying, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said slay away.
Oh, okay. Slow Debo. Let me first start off by saying, Black Russia, you're full of shit. And let me remind people, when I call him the worst political strategist ever, I truly mean it. Let's go back in the record here, Black Russia. You're the same guy that supported Jim Neal, lost. You're the same guy that supported David Mann, lost. You're the same guy that supported John Cranley in this current midterm. He lost. I mean, where is your record of picking anybody that actually won anything based on your political analysis? And then you got the nerve to try to come in here and act like, and I'm a Democrat, I'm a progressive liberal Democrat. Try to suggest that you and I both know, and you got to give this man his credit, just talking pure politics, that Mike DeWine is a political monster in Ohio, Black Russia. And the reason why Mike DeWine will win among anything outside of being in a red state is because Mike DeWine was kind of seen as, I don't know, a sensible guy during the pandemic when the right-wingers were saying, COVID doesn't exist. You don't need masks. Remember, he threw Amy Acton under the bus. So he kind of resonates with people that are like, okay, at least he's not like completely MAGA. You get where I'm coming from, Nate? There was a time where we were like, okay, Mike DeWine acting like he got some sense. But then, of course, he went back to being Mike DeWine because there's a Republican in the red state. And he has to, coalesce and comfort the MAGA types just a little bit just to keep them within the circle. And then he talks about John Cranley lost because even people inside of his own county here in Cincinnati, he lost by 10 points to Nan Whaley in Cincinnati and Hamilton County. And he didn't have the name recognition that he thought he had. Actually, Nan Whaley might have had more name recognition than John Cranley just based on the fact that she was out there in the forefront. Remember when they had the mass shooting? That's when she came on the scene. And let me also say this. Why is it a bad strategy, getting back to Drop Squad Black Knot variant? Oh, and by the way, Daryl's out there listening, and Ronald Lackey, I think he's also in the audience. Drop got dog walked yesterday on Twitter Spaces, and Daryl asked him the question, why are you still using antebellum language when you talk about Democrats? So what does he do when he calls the Nathan Ivey Show in the morning? He does the exact same thing, talking about overseer, talking about, plantations and all that crap. And yesterday they asked, Nate, you got to get in there. I know you don't like the foolishness sometimes, but you got to come on this thing and get one of these Twitter Spaces one time because they asked Drop specifically, and there was another Republican in the room with us. They asked Drop specifically, can you note something that the Republican Party has done or a policy that they have in which you can convince the black people that were in that room to even consider Republican Party without mentioning Democrats? Nate, he couldn't do it. He couldn't advocate for one Republican policy in which black people would say, you know what, maybe I'll give them a chance. Maybe I'll come around to seeing what apparently Black Knot variant is seeing. But he couldn't do it, Nate. And then let's get back to Nina Turner. It's ironic, Nate, because I actually read that article in the Intercept just last night, and I also read the Paul Doherty article about Dusty Baker. But if you in the article in the Intercept, they mentioned how the squad outside of AOC really didn't endorse a whole lot of progressive candidates because they mentioned that they didn't have the money to go around this time like they did the first time in the primary. Did you read that?
Yes, I did.
And then they talked about how Chantel Brown, how she immediately qualified to be. Damn, I think I wrote it down. I'm trying to work at the same time. But she qualified to be part of, who was it, a Congressional Progressive PAC or something, a caucus. And then there's like this hubbub, why are you supporting Chantel Brown over Nina Turner? So now they're talking about going back and looking at their endorsement process. And it was a cluster, what from the very beginning. But let's not mistake that Nina Turner kind of, dug her own grave a little bit with the whole bowl of shit comment. Buckeye talking about super predator, and he's talking about 2020 and what Hillary did to Bernie Sanders, who's not a Democrat, what he did to Bernie Sanders. But, Nina Turner, those comments will come back to haunt you, especially among Democrats. It's a coalition. It's not like the MAGA types where you either got white and MAGA white. And then, and again, I mean, really, am I lying or flying?
White and MAGA white? That's hilarious.
That's pretty much. Mike DeWine is white. They boys, remember the first gangster president? They want to run away from him, acting like, all the Democrats do is have Donald Trump to talk about. Donald Trump is always in the news, Nate. Have you heard the latest case from Kevin McCarthy? They just came out yesterday. They were talking about the 25th Amendment. They were talking about hopefully he will resign. They were saying behind his back, hey, this guy is terrible for our party. What happened on January 6th was the worst thing that happened to us. But then get in front of the mic and support him still. So why not run against it? Hell, I'm glad Joe Biden finally called him out yesterday. And then lied again about Tim Ryan saying, and Nate, I know this didn't pass you, but essentially Tim Ryan said he does. No, he didn't say that, Drop. You're lying again. And that's why your ass got dog walked in Twitter Spaces last night, and we were all there, and you were just humming. Hell, he started stuttering like Joe Biden when he was in the 4th grade type shit. He could barely get it out.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, it was hilarious. Oh, and Nate, I know you calling me a little brother or big brother. You don't know Drop, man. Drop is like ADOS, FBA. He's FB1. Oh, you didn't know that?
Oh, really?
Drop is on the. Oh, yeah, Nate. Oh, I would tell it all. You talking about all the tea? I would tell it. Oh, yeah. See, Drop tries to align himself with them because they are the Democrats ain't do nothing for us, so maybe we should look at the Republican Party, even though there are very good chances that many of those ninjas don't even vote to begin with. I call them the 2 black for BET crowd.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah. And Drop is like reparations now, and he's like, I'm a free black man and all that stuff. And then even yesterday they asked, oh yeah, oh Nate, like I said, man, you got to believe me, Daryl was in here. He absolutely knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Drop is down with us now. Drop don't talk that fresh, the first gangster president type shit when he's in those roles. Drop is all for the black people, man. He's all, pro. If they don't vote for reparations in 2022, maybe y'all shouldn't vote for Democrats.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. Oh, Nate, like I said about a month ago, Drop and the little black Republican friends in Twitter Spaces, they were actually trying to push the Donald Trump, Tim Scott ticket, pro-reparations 2024. And I'm sitting back there like, are you serious, dude? Hell, Tim Scott is black and he's not even for reparations. He's damn sure not going to run with it with Donald J. Trump in 2024. But what they trying to do, they're trying to depress the vote, trying to get people disinterested in voting. So, they try to play Democrats ain't done nothing for you. Barack Obama, he passed health care, but where's the black health care? Why don't he, sign an executive order for black gauzes and black Band-Aids? That type of stupid ass shit.
He said, where's the black health care? So yeah. Trump got exposed, huh? He just anything to build his platform. Oh, man.
Huh? Wait a minute. Then he tried to play. They were like, well, Trump, black, not Democrat, because, he's not dropping. He's black, not Democrat there. Well, why are you in California then, Drop? No, here you go. This was the thing. They were like, Well, how is it that why can't you advocate for black issues and people that look just like you, share the same skin tone as you in the Republican Party? Drops response, well, there's only like maybe 10 to 12% of us, and we really can't make an impact. And black people vote 80 to 90% Democrat, so I really can't do anything. So they just jumped on his ass. They were like, dude, why don't you stand on your 10 toes? Why aren't you pushing like the only black Republican in the Senate, Tim Scott, to vote for the Voting Rights Act, to push along the George Floyd Police Reform Act? Well, that's not my job. Me before we. That same bullshit. Oh yeah. Oh, they were running him right out the box. So drops in there, and then of course he becomes the victim. Well, anytime you vote, against what 80 to 90% of the black people, you get called names all of a sudden, and that's when Daryl busts him out like, dude, you're the same guy that's using the antebellum language. And then, of course, I brought up, you never hear conservative Jews tell liberal Jews to get out of the Auschwitz oven. But for whatever reason, the talking points when you're a black Republican is to try to play the plantation card or overseer card. Like I said, he started stuttering like Joe Biden in the third grade. And so when I hear these clowns like him and Black Russia talking that good shit and whoop-de-whoop, Black Russia, you have a record of supporting losers. And we will never forget that you were outside of an NAACP meeting with some tight-ass off-brand Gabriel Brothers shirts protesting against Yvette Simpson and supporting John Cranley. Oh, the guy that just got his ass whooped just a couple of days ago. The worst political strategist ever. So you and your little crew, y'all need to get y'all shit together. And Nate, I appreciate you taking my call. Flo Debo, I'm out.
Appreciate the call. Damn. You spilled all the tea. Is that what you've been doing, Drop, man? Oh, my God. Drop would do anything to build his platform, man. So where's the black health care? I'm tapped into some of that shit, man. They sound fucking dumb as hell. It's like they playing with blocks. They playing tic-tac-toe. Damn. He said the worst political strategist ever. That's hilarious, man. Damn. Drop's trying to call back in. We don't want to double dip, Drop. You already know my rules, man. No double dripping, so you had to dip in. You had to get it, Glenn, tomorrow, man. That's hilarious. DeAndre writes, Glenn woke up and chose violence. Damn. Oh, everybody gets it, huh? Before we get too deeper in the show, or any deeper in the show, I want to remind you that our friends over at Renew Community Church, they offer a Sunday morning live stream masterclass that's designed to give you tips and strategies to live your best life. And of course, this Sunday is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day 2022 to all the wonderful moms in the world. And they'll be talking about 4 steps to better mental health. The class is led by Charlie Winburn. Look at young Charlie Winburn. That's his Charlie Winburn mama. She passed when Charlie was 10 years old. I've heard him tell that story many times before. And the YouTube footprint is growing. It's growing. You can watch them on YouTube at Renew Community Church live stream, or you could tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. That's CINCI Renew. Check them out. And of course, this Mother's Day, make it very special. Do something very different, perhaps, this year for the mother in your life. Executive Chef Liz Rogers and her team have put together a Mother's Day all-you-can-eat Southern Swank event. It'll be at the Above and Beyond Planning and Event Center. That's at 18 Triangle Park Drive out in Sharonville, Ohio. If you want to register, there's a link in today's description. Hit that link. It'll take you to the Eventbrite where you can read more about the menu and what they have to offer. Let me just say they got you covered. All you got to do is get a card for moms and get her there, and then Liz and her team will take care of the rest. The tickets are $50. There'll be a live performance by Just Vince. Do something special. Hit that link and check out the menu. And if and when you go, or should I say if you go, please let me know all about it. And I guarantee you'll thank me later. No doubt about it. Life is all about experiences. So do something special. Do something special. This is like a really like super emotional time for me because, yesterday was my mother's birthday. And then Mother's Day is this Sunday. This is my mother's first birthday, and then Mother's Day, in which we won't have her. Of course, she passed away. And right in front of me, I was right there in the hospital. Matter of fact, I had to make a very difficult decision. The irony of it is just not lost on me. My mother made a decision to give me life, and I had to make a decision to take her life. And it's super huge. It's weighing on me super heavy. I've had a lot of moments over the last week or so. And again, I'm just transparent with you. I mean, when I started this promotion with the folks with the Mother's Day event, I just started thinking, like, it just started hit me like, oh shit, Chairman Mom is not here. That's why I referred to her as Chairman Mom. Because you have to be a dictator to raise 5 children, 3 boys, and me being the oldest, you got to be a dictator. Chairman Mao, Chairman Mom. And so she's really been on my thoughts, really been my thought. I wish she was here, and I would definitely take her. And she would go too. She used to love, late in life, she used to love to get out. She loved to get out, and she had a little scooter and have a good time. So again, I'm only saying this with you because I want you to make sure that you really hold on to those relationships. Hold on to those relationships. Let the people that are close to you know how much you care about them, because just like that, it can be gone. Just like that. Fame's in the house. He right. Pop asks her to marry him. Is that right? What up, Fame? Alexis Arguello. Jack, you funny for that. Alexis Arguello on the ropes. Oh man, that's hilarious, yo. That is hilarious. Oh yeah, thank you for the well wishes. Yeah, she's definitely on my head, on my heart. I was talking with the wifey last night. Your spouse is always gonna try to be there for you. And she was like, "What can I do?" And I'm like, "Look, do this, do that. Love your mama. You know what I'm saying? Love our children. That's it. That's all you can do. Because this is the circle of life. And as difficult as it was for us to make that decision, and it was on me. It was just not one of those things. It was like some shit straight out of a movie. We got to have a decision. We got to have a decision. I'm like, I got to make a decision to pull the plug on a woman that gave me everything. Very difficult. Very difficult. But it was the right decision. And that's life. I'm telling you, this life thing ain't nothing to play with. This is no joke. Every second is precious. Hold on to it. Savor it. Put your arms around the people close to you. Love your mama, your father, all the people close to you. Let them know. Because when something happened, you're going to wish you did. And see, the thing about me is I don't spare my feelings. If you're close to me, you know exactly how I feel about you. There is no question mark. If you're around me, you know exactly how I feel about you, because I don't spare no words. You know what I'm saying? If I feel a certain way, I tell you. If I have love for you, you know it. If I don't, you know it. And so I had a very mature relationship with my mother. You know what I'm saying? I was her child, but we had a very mature relationship, in the point where she knew everything. She knew all the secrets, all the dumb shit I ever did in my life. I went to her first. She knew it all. And I was able to hold her accountable. Hey, that don't make no sense. Or, hey, ma, And, she was mature enough to receive it. And so I don't have those feelings of like, I wish I would have said this, because I told her. She knows exactly how I felt. So I felt good about that. Graxton, aka Black Russia, writes, "Yep, I'm so bad. Cranley got a second term as mayor. Smitherman became vice mayor, and JP beat Dopehead Dillingham." You're so wrong to talk about Michelle Dillingham like that. You're so disrespectful. I'll say this again. Drug addiction that's a terrible thing. And there's a lot of people out here dealing with drug addictions on various levels. And if you can beat that and overcome that and walk that clean and narrow and be sober, that shows a lot of strength, because a lot of people can't beat their addictions. Their addictions beat them, put them straight in the grave, destroy their families, destroy their whole lives. So I don't hold that against Michelle Dillingham. In fact, I look at it as a positive, that she was able to climb out of that. That's just me. Smitherman became vice mayor, but that wasn't because of you. Cranley got a second term as mayor. He did. Some would say that was because of missteps of Yvette Simpson. I would say it was because of, and maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. It's funny how things turn out. Look at Yvette Simpson now. You know, sis seemed to be living her best life. She's doing her thing. I'm happy for her. So everything happens for a reason. Everything turned out the way it was supposed to turn out. Alexis Arguello on the ropes. Absolutely. A Jekariah's, my heart. Yeah, this shit is so serious, man. That shit was. Then I had to come back and do the show the next day. You know what I'm saying? And keep working and keep doing what I had to do. It was very difficult. Didi writes, everyone on the chat, please get a estate plan. Have your request in writing. When should your designated person remove you from your life support? That's my PSA for the day. Yeah, she didn't have it in writing, but again, I know my mother. We talked, and I was her oldest. I used to call. She was like, "Hello, number one." Just last night I was listening to. Sometimes she would call me. I missed a call. She'd leave a message, so I have all of these messages going back for like the last few years, and I just downloaded them to my phone. I'm gonna keep them, and when I want to hear her voice, I can hear it, because I don't know if you noticed or not, but when you lose somebody, one of the things that fades is the sound of their voice. You don't forget your memories, but over the years, you can sometimes forget the sound of their voices. And it's in your head, but if you don't keep hearing it, you can sometimes forget it. Like I've, on some level, forgotten the sound of the voices of my grandparents. But because of technology, I got my grandmother, I got my mother's voice until I die. I can always tap in. I was listening to a message last night when she called me. It was just very emotional, very emotional. Charlie Winburn's in the house. Good morning to you, sir. How you doing? Let me go back here and jump inside the chop shop. Ray writes, good risings all. Good morning to you, Ray. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Good morning to you, Ashley. It sounds like I'm washing dishes. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I didn't do anything different. Not sure what that was. I sent Sharon Coolidge a tweet asking her to cover Rosemary's Babies in an unbiased way while the Porter's being biased. I tagged counsel in their silence in public on this, but are full of throated on giving police extra money for overtime with bread for wraparound services. Okay, I appreciate that, Ray. Ray don't play no games on Twitter. She don't play no games. She be out there doing that Twitter thing. I see it. Sounds like I'm in a tunnel. Oh, God, that's terrible. I hate when it sounds like that. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. My mother-in-law died the day before Mother's Day in 2009, 2 days before my husband's birthday. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's just, it's a circle of life. And the one thing about my people is they prepared me for death. They used to tell me all the time, I'm not going to be here. You got to sit on your own 2 feet. So you could never be prepared for it, but you got some foundation for it. You never prepare for that. You know what I'm saying? Death, you never prepare for that. But what I will say to you again is death is an eventuality. Every last person in here is going to die. I'm going to die. It is what it is. We accept it. The gift of life comes with the other side. And the other side is death. It's natural. You know what I'm saying? But energy never dies. The soul is energy. So my mother, along with your peoples and the folks in your family that passed on, they just made a transition to the next adventure, the next reality. If that's heaven or reincarnation or I don't know what the heck it could be. We don't really know. You know what I'm saying? I know my Christian folks and my religious folks claim they got it all figured out, but I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure. But we'll find out. All I want to know is, can I do a podcast in heaven? If I can do that, give me a little microphone. I'm Gucci. I'm going to talk that ish into the, forever. Vincent writes, excellent movie. What movie are we talking about, Vince? I did mention a couple movies this morning. What movie are we talking about here? I'm looking at Glenn called in. He said, drop is lying. Jericho writes, JD Vance, the hillbilly elegy guy. Yeah, that guy. He got a shot at being the next senator from Ohio. I think Ohio would not be good for it. and not be good for it. But it's quite interesting that Trump has taken over the Republican Party and remains in control of it, even a year after being out of office with all the craziness. It is what it is. This segment is brought to you by Rumkey. What? That's hilarious. Let me see. Is this a lecture? Pamela writes, what is this guy talking about? I think they were talking about Buckeye fan. I understood what he was saying. Charles writes, Miami versus Memphis. Miami versus Memphis. I don't think that Memphis is ready. They're too young and inexperienced. And I think that inexperience is going to kill them. That's why they lost game 1 against Golden State. I can see Golden State getting them or Phoenix. I see Golden State and or Phoenix coming out of the West and out of the East. I don't know yet. I want to say Milwaukee, but without Middleton, and the way Boston playing right now, then you got to deal with Miami. I don't know. But it'll be fun to watch. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. Buckeye fan writes, there is no far left in this country, Black Russia. If there was, the FBI would immediately destroy it. D. Rose writes, if that's ridiculous, if Whaley can't beat DeWine, then Cranley definitely couldn't. If he couldn't even beat her. The fuck? Right. I understand that. Angela is cracking up. Cleopatra Jones writes, I don't care what you think. Talk facts. I'm with you on that. This is an opinion-driven show, though. We try to talk about the facts as much as possible, but it is. Cam is in the house. What's up, Cam? He writes, John Cranley lost the same city he was mayor of, right? Courtney writes, can we talk about why only 20% of voters in Cincinnati turned out? Well, yeah, let's talk about it, Courtney. I mean, one reason is it's a primary, and traditionally the turnout is low. I think the second reason is that voters remain uninspired. Neither of the Democrats and or the Republicans haven't really inspired people, right? Yeah, they offer up this, they offer up that, but is that really inspiring people? You know what I'm saying? Black Russian says something I agree with. There's a big difference between, or maybe it was Buckeye fan, I can't remember, it was both of them. There's a big difference between asking somebody to come out to vote to block somebody from getting in office and inspiring somebody, touching a voter. So they feel like, yeah, change, like the way people felt about Barack Obama the first term. Like people were inspired, whether it was real or some BS, whether he lived up to it or not. I'm just saying there was a lot of people were inspired by Barack Obama. And I haven't really seen that since. Also, there's people out here that try their best to educate, but are we really inspiring the electorate, the part of the potential electorate that's asleep, the folks out there that feel as if the government will never work in their favor, the folks out there that feel as if no matter who's in office, black or white, young or old, Democrat or Republican, progressive or conservative, they feel like it doesn't really matter. We, and I say that collectively, have yet to really touch them. So that's why I think, Courtney, they're just not inspired. In a lot of those races, we're talking about the primary. It speaks on the Democrat ballot. You have people running unopposed, right? And it's like, come out for what? Yeah, I'll see you in the midterm. I mean, in the general election. I'll see you in the general election. So I think those are some of the reasons. But again, traditionally primaries, those are older and white voters. If black folks in the city came out, they could run it. But, that's what I think. Just some of it. I'm not saying I got it all figured out because I don't, Courtney. But thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Good morning. Nathan, Republican supporters were more inspired than the Obama supporters, so much that they would commit seditious acts against the United States. Pat Rice, get inspired, y'all. We will vote again in August. these candidates gonna have to inspire people, but a lot of them say the same old shit, and it just doesn't touch people. I don't believe. That's just my thoughts. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate.
Hey, good morning.
This is Deborah Nesbitt. How
Hey,
you doing?
Hey, what's up, Deborah? Been a minute.
What is going on, man? I don't get notifications for your show on Facebook no more.
Really?
I'm following your page. I still don't get notifications. I'm listening to you on YouTube right now because I can't seem to find you on Facebook. It's weird.
Facebook is tripping. Facebook be straight tripping.
I'm like, what is up with that? So that's been bugging me like half the time. I'm like, I gotta go find the show every morning. I be running around. So how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Have you talked about the whole Mike Pence thing yet this morning? Have you
No.
talked? I'm just now getting back in. It seems like I might owe Mike Pence an apology, which breaks my heart because I don't like Republicans. Really haven't had much to say about Mike Pence. But it seems like Mike Pence might have almost saved America. There's this thing going on yesterday where they're talking about how on January 6th, during the whole, rebellion, the MAGA rebellion or whatever, they had to take all the senators and everybody and, get them out of the chamber while the people breached the Capitol building. And apparently, Donald Trump had done this whole thing where he had announced publicly, from wherever he was broadcasting it, he was expecting Mike Pence to, overturn the election or do whatever he was supposed to do. And Mike Pence refused. And supposedly the Secret Service had a car waiting for Mike Pence to leave, trying to get him out of the building. And Mike Pence refused to go. And his words were, "I will not get in that car." And what they were trying, if he had actually physically left the building, I don't know, I guess conceding that physical space would have meant that Trump and the other people literally had a right to their coup that they would have won without the American vice president there. I'm tripping. I gotta send you the link to this video because it's not like a conspiracy video. This is Chris Wallace and it's all over the news feeds and everything. It's crazy. Mike Pence actually might have saved America. It's off the chain.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not getting in that car.
Yes. It's real talk. All the crap that we think might get Trump to go to jail, when they were talking about hang Mike Pence and put up the noose and everything, they're oh, they were just protesting. No. Mike Pence's life was on the line. Democracy was on the line. Who we vote for, people, matters. You're right. Black people, if we don't start turning that, we don't find ourselves in Jim Crow America thing. Have you talked about the Roe v. Wade thing again and the SCOTUS and the leak and everything? Have you talked about that?
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah, because if you got women, I've had to drop the kids off to school and I'm working on field trips and everything. But man, if you got women freaking out around you right now, dude, understand why. Go watch The Handmaid's Tale. Go watch something that lets you know what's up. Because I'm telling you, this is becoming a very repressive, oppressive. It's already an oppressive environment for women in this country, but it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. These abortion laws are not just abortion. They're about bodily autonomy and who can be controlled and who you're allowed to control. That's what the Jim Crow laws were about. That's what it's all about. It's about power and control. We can have a much better planet, people, but we are fighting against these people who want control for all the resources. They want all the marbles, and they want our subservience, and we're going to have to fight back, whether we like it or not. And that's my sermon for the day. I'm going to keep finding you out here on the internet. What the heck is going on with Facebook? It's really bugging me. We got to talk about this because I can't not listen to your show every day. It's killing me.
I appreciate you.
I called you, hey, I'm still here. I almost missed drop. That's really bad. You know how bad you hear what drop is talking about. All right. I'll see you out here on the internet, Nate.
All right, Deborah. That's Deborah Nesbitt. Yeah, Facebook been tripping. I don't even know. Facebook has been tripping for a minute. But we're going to let them keep doing what they do, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. Pence uttered what I think are the six most chilling words of this entire thing I've seen so far. I'm not getting in that car, Raskin said. He knew exactly what this inside coup they had planned for was going to do. I'm not getting in that car, Tim, Pence said in response to Gable's insistence that he enter the armored vehicle. I trust you, Tim, but you're not driving the car. If I get in that vehicle, you guys are taking off. I'm not getting in that car. This was not a coup directed at the president. It was a coup directed by the president's agenda, by the president against the vice president and against the Congress. You know, we just gloss over this, and I'm glad that she said that, but I made the point. In our lifetime, if Donald Trump could have got away with that, he would have stolen the elections right in front of us. And not only would he have done it, but elected officials would have rubber stamped it and went along with it. He would have straight up stole the election on some lying type shit right in front of us. Right in front of us. I mean, that was his deal. He lost the election because of his COVID response. That's why Donald Trump lost. Had he had a sensible, logical, common sense, give a fuck approach, he probably would have beat Joe Biden. And the fact is 70 million people voted for this fool and continue to be allegiant to him on some patriotic shit, like he really cares about the country, and he tried to subvert our democracy just so he could stay in power. And what was he doing with the power? Nothing. On some narcissistic type shit. That's it. So I have to read this, but from what I'm gleaning here and what you said, it looks like Mike Pence would not go along with it. Tried to straight up circumvent Joe Biden's victory. And that is why it is completely fair. And I'm going to do this with every Republican candidate. I'm going to ask them, do they support the big lie? I don't care if they're running for school board. I don't care if they're running for dog catcher, city council. If you're running for public office as a Republican, I need to know whether you supported the big lie or not. Yes or no? Yes or no? Because if you say, yeah, you can't get my vote, I wouldn't vote for you to wash my underwear. You couldn't do nothing for me. Very interesting. I checked this out. Thank you, Deborah Nesbitt. That's very interesting. Props to Pence. At least he has some goddamn sense. Give him some credit for that. I'll say it again. If Trump could have stolen the election just a year ago, he would have stolen the election and on some dictator type ish, like, yeah, and well, stop me. And he would have had hundreds of people around the country in critical positions that would have went along with it. Why? Because their party's in power. You know, they're kings in power. So, hey, we get to go to court. Like Jim Jeffries, that's his name in Ohio. He was along with the steal. He was along with it. And it's just amazing that so many millions of our citizens, our fellow Americans, are willing to go along with this. Absolutely amazing. First 9/11, then this. Oh, man. We are leaning closer to a brainwashed dictatorship by Trumpsters, right? He got these people brainwashed. Jim Jordan, thank you, Roy. Jim Jordan, right. Not Jeffries, right. Jim Jordan. Straight, he was down with the steal. This is an elected official from Ohio who was down with the stealing of an election. Why? Because it would have kept his boy in power. So he can cozy up on Fox News and go to the White House dinners and kiki and laugh and take photographs. In our lifetime, that's huge. It can't be understated. It cannot be understated. Once again, before we roll out of here, I want to remind you that our friends over at Renew Community Church, they offer a Sunday morning masterclass. It's a live stream. And the point of it is to give you tips and strategies to live your best life. That's it. This Sunday is Mother's Day, so they'll have a slight Mother's Day theme to it. But you can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. You can also tap in on YouTube. Some of you might be on YouTube right now at Renew Community Church live stream. Check them out. If you like it, hit them with a sub, and you can thank me later. This Sunday's topic, 4 steps to better mental health. Why are there so many emotionally unhappy people in your life? And their YouTube channel is growing. They are growing. Also, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at the Mother's Day All You Can Eat Southern Swank event. Tickets are going fast. So if you're interested, I spoke with or conversed with Liz. They're going to cut off the ticket purchase time on Saturday. So if you're thinking like, I'm going to do this last minute on Sunday, it's not going to work for you. If you're interested, reserve your seats today. Hit the link in the description. They've got mom completely taken care of. All you can eat Southern Swank, $50 for admission per ticket. You can register. They've got an event page up on Facebook. You can hit the link. You can also go out to Wingstop Wing Champs, and you can check them out there. All right. And you can purchase your tickets live in person. Go out to Wing Champs. And they've got a live performance by Just Vince. And I'm not sure what you've done typically for the mother in your life, but this could be something that could be a very unique experience. Do something special for the mother in your life. Maybe it's your stepmother or the woman that blessed you with a child, or maybe it's someone close to you, a family member or a friend. Do something special. Hit the link. And with that, my friends, I got to make a move. Have an excellent rest of your day. Remember our motto. Let's say it together. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.